German though.
Okay,
I usually say I'm here, so,
I know you're good. Shin?
okay, I think you're on.
all right. I call the, well, I'll regavel us. I call the Algonquin Township Board meeting for November 13th, 2019 to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Whoa, almost got killed here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. The next item will be the roll call.
Ramesh? Here. Chapman?
Here.
Shea?
Here.
Lawrence is absent.
All right. And then we'll list on the minutes, we'll list everybody else that's up here too. All right. The next item will be, I'm going to make an announcement that, as I understand it, our supervisor Chuck is making good progress, and we're hoping to be back with us soon. All right, the next item will be approving the minutes for the meeting on October 9th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion, additions, or subtractions, clarifications? Partridge in a pear tree?
No,
No, we don't have that in this. All right.
Wasn't renamed to David Lewing.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. All right, the motion to approve the minutes for October 9th, 2019 has passed by unanimous voice vote. And now I'll add to your agenda between the minutes and the new business. I'm going to read into the record a change in the general assistance. And this is effective October 1st, 2019. The monthly pay level for general assistance was raised from $304 per month to $312 a month. Effective December 1st, 2019, the new pay level for general assistance will be $312 per month. Okay. The next items we have.
Mr. Supervisor? There being no chance of prevailing, I would ask that the following two items be removed from consideration for this evening. The first being discussion approval of the referendum regarding township consolidation for the March 2020 ballot. And the second for removal is discussion and approval of the township newsletter in deference to trustee Lawrence.
Okay. Do we need a motion on those? Wouldn't hurt, huh?
It wouldn't hurt.
All right, we'll have a motion on that removal. We have a motion by you
Yes.
and a second by me. All right, any discussion on those? Hearing none, we'll have I think we can have a voice vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, the motion to remove the discussion regarding the township consolidation and the discussion for the township newsletter has been approved by unanimous voice vote. We'll move on now to transfer of appropriations of, we have a number of these are in form here. And this doesn't change with taxing or anything else. This is, I'm assured that this is all money that's being switched within the budget, so it don't change costs to the public or anything else. I asked the trustees, do you want to do this as a blank or do you want to go over each one?
No, blank is fine.
All right, I'll read them into the record. A transfer appropriation from clerk personnel salaries in the amount of $17,200 to clerk legal services. Second, transfer appropriation from road bridge engineering services in the amount of $5,000 to road bridge legal services. Transfer of appropriation from road bridge rentals in the amount of $10,000 to road bridge legal services. Transfer of appropriation from road bridge miscellaneous expense in the amount of $1,500 to road bridge legal services. Transfer of appropriation from road bridge printing and publishing in the amount of $2,000 to road bridge legal services. Transfer of appropriation from road bridge technical support in the amount of $4,000 to road bridge legal services. Transfer of appropriation from road bridge computer supplies in the amount of $1,000 to road bridge legal services. Transfer of appropriation from road bridge miscellaneous in the amount of $1,500 to road bridge construction bonds. And finally, transfer of appropriation from road bridge administration cap outlay equipment in the amount of $750 to road bridge office supplies. All right, now we've got the motion and the second. Has this been reviewed to make sure all these are within the legal?
I don't know if they've been reviewed to determine if there's been more than a 10% transfer for the year. But because they're not looked at individually, that's usually, unfortunately, the supervisor's office. So, but I don't know that. I don't sit down and look at that. So the question is has all of the transfers for the entire year been less than 10% within the road and bridge fund?
As I look at them,
I don't know the answer to that.
That would be the highway commissioner.
as I look at them though, with the varying values,
They're relatively
it
small.
looks like they were
No,
all
we haven't had that
tailored
many.
to fit.
Yeah, they're relatively small, so,
They're all small.
but I can't answer your question.
Out of the clerk's budget.
Why
All
we-
right.
Under ours. So we're fine.
Anybody else have
This
questions?
is the end of it.
Yeah.
It's released on
Hi, clerk. Is this now we're transferring this to legal fees. Is this the end of the?
the- I sure hope so.
All right. I mean, I'm glad to say that we got that notice today. So,
So, my attorney sent October 30th that he got me dismissed, but that doesn't mean, I think his bills were up to date because last month he didn't send one in.
okay,
If it is, it will be minimal, but,
That's great.
and unless I'm not pulled back in some other way, shape or form.
all right.
I spoke to Mr. Mercado also.
You did?
about 3 weeks ago, and he said that after that court order was entered, he anticipated that would be the end of his legal bills for representing the clerk.
That's marvelous. Yes.
Anything further? No further?
I was
We have a
dismissed
motion
from the
and a-
case.
Yes.
Motion and a second. I'd like to take a roll call vote on this,
Yes.
please.
Okay, who had the motion
I did.
And I have the second.
for the appropriations?
Mhm.
Okay, Ramesh,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Shay.
Yes. All right. A resolution approving these transfers. I believe that was a resolution, has been passed by unanimous roll call vote. Now we're gonna move to the audit of the bills. And we'll start with the town fund. This is, the town fund, the total expenditures of $98,598.19.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
Okay. All right, any discussion on these? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Ramesh? Yes. Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes. All right, the motion to approve the town fund expenditures has passed by unanimous roll call vote. The next item will be, this is the general assistance fund of $11,568. I'll make a motion, we approve it. A second by anybody?
Second.
And, okay, we have a second. Any discussion on this one?
Do we know how many persons were helped with that amount?
We're running about 30. About that.
There's 16 general assistant, monthly. And I would say there was probably the 15 to 16 of emergency assistance for the month.
So about 30 people were helped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any more? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Ramesh? Yes. Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes. The general assistance fund, the motion for the general assistance fund was approved by unanimous roll call vote. The next item will be the expenditure report for the road and bridge fund in the value of $97,868.35. Do we have a motion on that?
So moved.
We have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second. Discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Ramesh? Yes. Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes. All right, the motion to approve the road and bridge fund total expenditures has passed by unanimous roll call vote. Here's two of these.
Okay.
And the final one is the equipment and building fund for total expenditures of $195,667.40. I make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. Do we have discussion on that? Do you have anything?
What is Cornell Industries?
It's, they purchase trucks through Bunnell.
Yeah, they help, rigs and lights at bars and, additions to the trucks that we buy.
Any others? You have anything?
No, I'm okay with this.
Hearing no more, requests, we'll have a roll call vote on that.
Ramesh? Yes. Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes. The motion to approve the equipment and building expenditures has been approved by a unanimous roll call vote. We're now open for public comments. I'm sure we have at least one. You're not commenting?
No. No.
Oh, my goodness. All right, is there anybody else? How about our regular,
My son's team won 2 games this week.
how about our regular who tells us how good we are? No? You're thinking about it.
There's always good news, always.
The news got anything for us?
She just laughs.
Postage going down?
All right, then we'll move on to new business. First item we're gonna have is a discussion and potential approval of the new lease for a copy machine. Has that been shuffled out already, Pam? or anybody else?
So,
Yeah,
it's in the packet.
It's in the packet.
Okay,
And the recommendation was to
yeah, we have to have
the recommendation was to
I
go
have
with
the
the
materials here, but
proven IT with the Xerox copy machine.
is the recommendation as stated in that, Xerox VersaLink? That's a proven, which one is this?
Proven IT.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then the other ones are forget it.
Well, that just shows the Xerox, it shows like the highlights of it.
Oh, so there's the two, okay, because I also have this,
There was 3 companies total.
okay. And the one, is this one with the VersaLink color? You know, what's this?
That's the company that we're recommending is, that has, the Xerox.
Oh, so the Xerox is just information that's, okay.
Mhm.
Proven IT manages the contract.
All right.
Yes, yes.
With the discussion, what, was this the one that was reviewed and the dollar values and everything else?
Yes,
Well, because it'd be impossible for me to read all this in, we'll, reference it by the materials supplied at the meeting, and they'll be available for someone if they want them.
and they were delivered to the board members electronically for us to review last week.
Oh,
And actually at the last meeting too. The
yeah, we
original
had them at
stuff
the last
at
meeting,
the
so
last
there was
meeting,
a
too.
debate.
There was just a couple of questions with Proven IT. The question was the toner included in the bid? And yes, it is. And with Warehouse Direct, the question was, what were the overage amounts, which then I provided.
Yep.
So it still kind of came out that Proven IT had the best price. And since we currently use GFC, their prices are considerably higher. The assessor went with this Proven IT and has had no issues as far as service or the way the machine is working. So that's why we decided, well, we were recommending that this was kind of the company that we
I
liked.
didn't care for the one we have, because if you put something that was smaller, it automatically turned it the wrong way. So then you move it this way, and it turned it the wrong way the other way. You almost had to have a dummy in there. Or maybe operating it, that's another story.
IBM, idiot behind the machine.
Yeah.
Nobody's arguing with you.
All right, so approval of, and I'll mention that again, of Proven IT's proposal. And we need a motion, I guess, on that.
Before we do.
Yes, sir.
One, the copiers that are gonna be leaving here, right?
One copier.
One, we want that hard drive from that.
Okay.
That is ours, and per Homeland Security, we have to retain that and drill a hole through it and take that information and to make that to where it is not accessible by anybody, especially since general assistance paperwork is on there. There was a second question, was the data going from that copier real time to Proven IT gave me pause to ask what their cloud security is going to be like. We have documents that are proprietary and that are covered under HIPAA and under our state laws for the general assistance. And those documents are going up into the cloud to a server which is held by Proven IT. So I'd like to get some kind of an email or something from them back stating what the security is. I didn't find it in the Proven thing, so, and I'm sure they do it. We're not unique. So I just wanted to see.
You have that as a directive to the staff.
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
saying that the documents are actually uploaded to their cloud?
Yes.
Really?
Of course. It's real time support. So every time a copy goes, there's a tick at the Proven IT. They're able to troubleshoot it, and if it jams up or something, they have software that runs diagnostics on it.
The document. they have
But
to
they're
release
not,
it.
they're not showing the document.
The documents are up in the cloud, so they are stored electronically.
Okay.
And
Why? It's just a copy.
it's just a copier. Because they need to retain those documents, they need to bring those documents back because you want them when you can't find one. So they're retained. The documents are retained on the hard drive and as well as on the cloud server. So again, it's not anything that they haven't heard and they don't know.
Okay.
So again, it's just another IT security thing.
I'll go over it with them.
That'd be great.
Is there a need for executive session?
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, thank you. All right,
So let's vote.
so we have a motion and a second on it.
Yep.
Who made the motion?
Pardon me, did you or did I?
I made the
You
motion
made
and
the
you
motion,
seconded.
I seconded.
Okay.
All right, for this, we have to have a roll call
Ramesh,
Yes.
Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
vote, yes. And the approval of the new lease for copy machine with Proven IT has been approved by unanimous roll call vote. The next item is a discussion presentation from PACE.
Yes,
Hi.
hi.
Would you like to come up or you can even take a chair and then we've got a microphone.
That's okay. Mr. Chapman asked me to come and talk to you about a program that we have. I assume that you shared the information.
Absolutely.
So, it's called a community vehicle program. There are two different options. You can either have a bus that looks like a bus, or you can have a conversion van that both are equipped with lifts. There is less cost for the conversion van. This is in response to whatever's going on with your senior services right now. And it's going to be the same kind of service that McHenry Township has for their Senior Express. It's over and above what MC Ride would do, but MC Ride is also available to you. The costs are a little bit different, but again, you saw that. I will walk you through the whole process of doing this, if this is what you decide that you want to do. You know, having already sent you some of the things, I guess more or less I'm asking if you have any questions. I know that in order, it's $1,000 for a deposit. It's $100 a month for the service on either program. We walk you through it. You hire whoever it is that you want to hire. I assume that you already have people who are drivers. They would go through our program. We would ask you to approve a drug and alcohol policy for the people who are involved in the program to follow our lead, because we know that what we're doing follows the FTA standards. The agreement includes FTA assurances that your attorney will also have to review and sign every year. We're working on that right now to try to streamline that a little bit, but it's very workable, and the people who have it love it. It's, for you, it would be door-to-door service. You decide what it is you want to do. Do you want to have a route? Do you want to have 24-hour call? Do you want to be seniors and disabled? There are townships in the 6-county area that do general public, even though the township is running it. You can either have a road district do it, or you can have the township itself do it. It's gone both ways. I've done it both ways in different areas. It depends on which is ever easier for you.
Yeah, we understand it would be done through an intergovernmental agreement.
It's an intergovernmental agreement. It's rather lengthy.
Are there parts of it dealing with federal grant that we have to meet certain requirements as far as record management for the federal government and those types of?
There will be a lot of
requirements?
hoops to jump through, yes,
Okay.
yes. But I will walk you through that whole process. And once you have a service rep, they will handle everything else for you. There are certain things that you need to do. Every 6 months, you have to get a maintenance on your vehicles. There are audit trails for your EAP. Employee, yes, that's right. That's the right initials. I get them backwards sometimes, you know. So there's a lot of paperwork to go through, but once you have it done, it's much easier to get a second vehicle or a third vehicle. A lot of seniors prefer the bus. I do have, wait just a second, I can pass this back to you. I didn't bring all the paperwork with because I didn't want to scare you. The bus, it's called a Champion vehicle. You can just pass that around. It's a lot of ink that I was using. It looks like a bus, acts like a bus. It has a lift on it that gets you in. Seniors particularly like it because there's plenty of headroom. The other one is a conversion van,
Yeah.
and you load from the back. Gives you 7 passengers plus the 2 wheelchair places that you can use. That's a 10-passenger vehicle. So it depends on how much you want to use it or where you want to go. You are required by law to be ADA accessible, so you have to have ones with lifts.
Mhm.
If you were a not-for-profit in a different program, you wouldn't have to have a lift. And we have a lot of those as well. But that seems to be everybody's favorite is the Champion. The difference is you pay for the maintenance on the Champion. You don't pay for the maintenance on the conversion van.
Okay.
You have to maintain insurance on the vehicle. There are insurance requirements. If you decide that this is something that you're interested in doing, I gave Mr. Chapman an application. You tell us what it is you want to do, and we will see how we can fit what you want to do in with it. It has to be continuous service or regular service, continuous service. So if you're going to have Monday through Friday, it's Monday through Friday all the time. You can't decide to do it on one day and then not do it on another day. But again, you can do a whole bunch of things. There are some communities that will take people to medical centers for dialysis and such because they're popular. They'll pack all the seniors in on that one and take them for their dialysis and come back. Otherwise, they will take people on like Tuesdays or Thursdays to go to the Butera that's down the road that they like to go to that's not something else. In this case, it might be down to a Walmart, or it could be down to Randall Road to someplace else that you would want to be able to take them. Or it could just be a dial-a-ride where they call a day ahead or a week ahead or whatever. You can charge people money, but you don't have to. I would suggest that you always charge something. Seniors even, they don't want to be given a handout. They want to be able to participate. And no matter what you would want to charge them, it would never meet what it's going to cost you to be able to give them the service. So it's a token, more or less. And then there's somebody who has to do the dispatching of that service, just like they
Right.
do now.
Right.
Everything is pretty much what you do now. It's just better controlled. And we have everybody go through our drug and alcohol testing. Anybody who's going to be part of the service is part of that. We have what's called the Safety, Security, Emergency Preparedness Plan policy that has to do with being able to use a vehicle in an emergency if there's a fire or there's heat or there's terrible cold. We can call vehicles in to handle that. Usually you see that when there's something going on in Chicago and tracks go down and they have to take people from here to there.
Mhm.
They will, even Chicago will call on us to take our vehicles, to take them from point A to point B so that you can get around something else so that everybody else is being served. I've never seen anything like that happen with these kind of vehicles. So, but if you have any other questions, the other thing that you can do, just so you know, it's cheaper to do, but it's become part of the MC Ride program. For Algonquin Township, and you say you have 88,839 people, I looked that up today. It would be $10,800 a year.
That's how much it is? Okay, good, because that was the number that we didn't have.
Right. I picked that up, that it used to be a little bit less, but this year it's 10,800 just because of your population. You can do seniors and disabled, but if that's all you want to do or all that you think you can do, that's fine. The city of, or Village of Algonquin is not part of the program. So only those people who you say you're going to take care of will be taken care of, whether they're in the city or in unincorporated areas. That's okay, but it's $10,800. It is curb to curb service.
Mm.
It's not door to door service. So
Well, I
depending
thought
on,
earlier you had mentioned that.
I'm
Door to
sorry?
door.
door to door service is what the Senior Express does in McHenry Township.
The bus and the van here, Dan,
Yeah.
Either one. What
the ones like
happens?
we have now.
Yeah, what happens is, for instance, if I was in a wheelchair, my driveway is 125 feet long.
Wow.
And if you're curb to curb service and the bus is coming down the road to come and get you, and I have to get from my house all the way out to the street, and it's raining or it's snowing, and those are things I can't do. And with MC Ride, the drivers can't help you get your groceries or anything like that into the house. That's not part of our program because it's a safety issue with us. If you've got other people in that van, we are not comfortable as public transportation to allow, excuse me, our drivers to not be in visual contact with the vehicle. So depending on where you are and what's going on, you can't do that. You folks can do it whichever
First of
way you
all,
want to
if
do
you
it.
haven't given your name to the clerk for the record,
For the record, my name is Mary Donner, Donner. My title is Community Relations Representative for McHenry County. My apologies, that's twice now I've done that.
well, that's just for the record's sake.
Sure.
All
I'll
right,
give
you
you my
ready for
card,
questions?
Karen.
Thank you.
How about this system when it comes to out of the area? Because our system right now, particularly, a lot of the people go to Good Shepherd Hospital. I'm not sure what other hospitals. This covers that kind of thing?
Sure.
All right, that's one.
You're
We have-
creating it.
Huh?
You are creating it. So you can say only within the confines of Algonquin Township, except for trips to Good Shepherd or Advocate Sherman or, certain other
Yeah, I'll
places
have-
that you would want to include.
I have to find out. I know that they go to Good Shepherd, but I don't know where else they go.
Actually, I'm missing, because I'm going to be in Arizona, this coming weekend, I'm missing the chance to take the Fox River Grove seniors to a play in Palatine. And that's one of the things that I look forward to doing is to be able to drive our seniors to events like they used to go to here in Algonquin Township. Township bus used to take them up to Lake Geneva, used to take them up to different forest preserves, used to take them to Palatine and Marriott, Lincolnshire. So there are a lot of more social things that they can do. And again, I'm looking forward to a couple of options. And
You can do that.
the McRide,
MC Ride stays within the areas that they have on their brochure, and I can send you that electronically.
Yeah,
They're in my car.
now I don't carry, we were asked about if the Village of Cary wanted to be on it, Fox River Grove wanted to be on it. Do you know,
Fox River Grove is now part
they
of it.
did, okay,
They did.
all right,
Carrie, thought about it, looked at it, and said they didn't have enough money to do it,
okay,
to be part of MC Ride.
yes,
Yes, okay,
All
so
right.
they
Because
opted out
anything
for now.
else we set up through the township would have to be available to everybody in the township. Can't just cut and dry. So that's that.
Unless you want to say seniors and disabled. What it is, it's Dillon's law. So if
Yeah.
the law says you can do it, you can do it. The other way to look at it is that if the law doesn't tell you that you can't, you can't. So it depends on how you read it. So some people are very strict on that and other townships are not.
do you know, has there been case law settled on whether or not?
Oh, no, I know of many communities that do it anyway.
I understand that, and that really bothers me, especially after this weekend down in Springfield, finding that that's a common trait and that some townships do things one way, some do things another way, and I really would want to have that question
That's fine.
answered. Yeah,
And there's nothing on our part because the contract, the agreement will always say that it has to be open to the general public. But the way that you handle that, their seniors are part of the general public, disabled are part of the general public, And if you don't have any capacity issues, that's the rest of the general public. And I say that because, for instance, if I want to go someplace and I came in on the train and I went to see my Aunt Hattie and she wants to go someplace and you guys are going to take her, she wants me to come with her. I'm not a resident. Well, I am a senior, but let's pretend I'm 30 years younger. Okay, I'm not a senior. I'm not disabled yet. So that takes in that extra person if you want to be able to handle that. You can
Caregiver.
say low income. Seniors, disabled, and people of low income.
He's pointing at me.
No, I'm just saying you can. I even meaning,
Yeah, the
It's all right,
township
Graham.
also says general powers dealing with juveniles. So you have, you're covering a broad spectrum.
But, yeah, we already have PACE, and I know there's a goodly number of people use the PACE bus. But when there was talk about getting rid of our bus service, the seniors virtually revolted because they appreciate the door to door.
that's right.
So
It does-
just so you know that, all right.
It's kind of, depending on who you talk to in McHenry Township, they
Yeah.
call it the Cadillac service. And that it's a duplication of service, but it's not.
All right.
It's not a duplication at all.
uh,
Our requirements are much stricter than the Senior Express.
As far as the volume, because we have two buses, and I'm not sure if they, some days I guess they do two, some days not. Is that right, or do we always run two?
We run one.
One only? So it's down to that level, okay,
We only have one driver each day.
okay, well, thank you. All right,
And to lease our buses, it's 2 drivers for 1 vehicle, 3 drivers for 2 vehicles, 5 drivers for 3 vehicles. Because if somebody's going to be on vacation or somebody gets sick
oh,
or they're not full-time, you need to have people who are going to cover that. And usually it's a lot of senior gentlemen who no longer work, they're finally retired, they get on home, they can't stand it, they want to have people they can talk to, and Mama's more than happy to have them go out and go talk to people and drive on, so that they can feel that they are of better use, and it works out very well.
The service that we used to have, we have 3 buses here. We're retiring at least one, is the oldest one, and that leaves us with 2, which would be sufficient for our current service, which I believe the road commissioner is online listening to the presentation tonight. He said he would. To get the full use out of the buses, we would really need to promote this and let people know that this is there. And it would be something that I could see as a good reversal, because over the last couple of years, the information coming out of here has been getting less and less, and those services have been decreasing because we haven't been telling people that they're out there. And our population is aging every day.
And when you are filling out your application, the application asks how many rides you think you are going to provide in a month. And we'd like to see 400 a month. That sounds like a lot, but if you put it into a context of 4 weeks, so in a week you get 100, that's 50 people going back and forth, because a trip is one way. So if you have 50, that's only 25 people that you have to get going to make it really work. So it's not that much. It's not hard to do. Then we'd like to see 1,000 miles put on the vehicles. We're here to provide you guys transportation that you can give to people we can't give it to. So we want to make sure that it's being used. And, well, Henry Township has 5 vehicles. The VAC has 3 vehicles. That there are a number of places that have quite a few. And sometimes you only need to have one, and you keep one of your own as a backup.
Right.
Because if something goes down, you have something else that's going. Because again, if you enter into a contract with us, we're talking about regular and continuous service. So if you have something that happens and your vehicle is out of commission for 3 days, what are you going to do? You either have a vehicle available with a lift, or you have to rent one. So if you already have one, or have one available to you that you can work on whatever you need to do, that would be perfectly fine. Nothing says we have to use it.
Gives us another opportunity to enter into an IGA with one of the neighboring townships in case something like that were to happen. You mentioned VAC. Can you explain what those letters stand for?
Veterans Assistance Commission for
Okay.
McHenry County.
The county, speaking of McHenry County, the county, do they have figures for McRide of how many monthly people, are using it?
Over the year,
Yeah,
over a year, right now, they're at about 107,000 rides,
107,000 per year.
Is that two-way, one way or two-way?
one way.
So
One-way trips.
it's a person going to the store and
Right.
back.
And 67% of the rides are actually commuter rides, getting people to work.
Oh, no kidding.
No kidding. And getting them to where they can catch the metro. Or they're getting off the metro to get to work, they can do that. Otherwise, it's students, a lot of people who are in workshops come and go through that service. Yes. That service is $3 for the first 5 miles and 25 cents a mile after that. So if you've got a long ride, it can get expensive. But I know of one young lady who's coming all the way from Fox Lake. She takes a fixed route first thing in the morning, and then if her connection doesn't work, she's already got a call in so that she can get MC right over to McHenry County College
Oh,
and back. So I mean, there's lots of different ways to get around it. But yeah, it's about 107,000
So that
trips.
McHenry, or the one to Fox Lake was the one we were talking about canceling.
That's
So
correct.
it's over with, I understand. They're
That's
gonna
not,
keep it.
that's not gonna happen right now. And the county has a transit plan for the next 5 years that's being passed as we speak, I think. And if that works, Pace will be working with them to see if what it is the county has decided they want to do is something that we are able to help them do.
sure.
And that would be what they want to do for where the 806 is, and that's the one that goes to Fox Lake, is to have an extra runner, add service to it, because it goes through 4 different villages,
right.
communities. And why wouldn't you want to do that if you can? The 807 that goes between Woodstock and McHenry, goes between Woodstock and McHenry, and goes down 120, and there's nobody to pick up and nothing to do.
Right.
But depending on who it is and where they're going, it's a numbers,
And I think
it's a
that
numbers
was,
thing to begin with until you start seeing who it is. you're
sure.
helping.
And that was the complaint that was brought up.
Yep.
Up there in McHenry. Look, there's a whole route, and nobody's getting on there.
Well, the problem is that McHenry County only has 300,000 people in it. It's set up very much like Will County and very much like Kane County. Everything is, and all the people are right along the river. And you get further west and there's nothing. And what do you do with that? Well, fine, except in Kane County, Aurora has 200,000 people. Elgin has 100,000 people. Between those 2 towns, they've got 28 routes because there are so many people going so many places and there's so much other transit available, the Metro, the NSF, excuse me, and the railroad getting you places. We at least have about 550 that goes from the city of Crystal Lake straight down Randall Road till you get to by Jimmy's Char House there. And then you can switch over and catch the 605 that'll take you all the way down to the Rosemont Transit Center, or the 607 that'll take you to the West Transit Center. From there, you can go wherever you need to, and Rosemont will take you downtown or to the airport. So
Wow.
you can do it, but public transportation takes time. It's not as easy as getting in your car and going where you want to go when you want to go. So, but that's what we have here. And 3 routes that ride 3 times in the morning and 4 times in the afternoon, and that's it.
Now, what about weekends?
No.
Okay, all right.
MC Ride does run Saturdays and Sundays.
In your presentation, you mentioned, do we have to accept this in a certain time limit, or do we have, because I'd like to see Dave, he's been following this close, put together the variables so we have a little more.
Sure.
There is no time limit on.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I would walk you, if you decide to do this, I will walk you through every step. And the first step is to get the application done so that we can review it and see, make sure that the I's are crossed and the T's are dotted. make sure that everything is going according to what we have to do to follow our federal standards. And then take it to the agreement, we'll fill out the agreement, we'd send it to you for your review. I'll send you a copy of the drug and alcohol policy and the SSEPP ahead of time, and a prototype of the,
The attorney opinion letter,
Yeah.
I've looked at those.
so,
Sometimes we modify them, but
but it's so that you at least have them, so that you can see what it is you're going to be working on and that they are going to be working on. And then we start from there. Once I get the application done and you give me the $1,000 or whatever, 2,000 if it's going to be two, then I walk you through I'll do the resolution for you so that everything is set to go. You give me that back, I'll give you the driver documents that you need to do, and I'll walk you through that section. Once that is done, the only time limit is that once you get that far and you start doing the drug tests for the people involved in the program, from that point, you have 90 days to get it started.
Okay.
So in that 90 days, we got to get all that stuff looked at. We have to do our due diligence and send your drivers for a day of training.
Okay.
So,
It takes about 6 months to get it all done.
6 months, that was a good,
Yeah.
that was good. The next question is, excuse me, if Andrew's not watching, then, we agreed that we would get with you and sit down and talk about that and
Sure.
to discuss how
Yeah.
it transitions.
Yes.
And I also want to thank Cal Skinner, Elaine, and Dan, I don't know if you got it. Did Cal send you a list or by email of the different numbers of people that are riding? Okay, I'll forward that on to you.
Well, you know, I'm not into the emailing stuff.
No, I know, but
I don't even open because harassment of all the stuff that I may have read on email and all that happened to me already, so I don't do any of that. I didn't anyway.
it's identity theft. Everybody wants to be you, Dan. So,
They're sick.
but I want to personally thank you for your time. The correspondence with you has been wonderful. You're right, we do need to update how to put our information on our website, and I'll apologize for that, and I'll tell you that we're looking at that. And then expect us to contact you either by Friday afternoon
Okay,
or the 22nd of November. And I know maybe, we're all going out of town for Turkey Day or whatever, but I want to at least get that initial information in and the documents for review so that we can at least have this review done by the end of the year.
certainly, we can do that. I'll tell you the next week or so. November's a really tough time
Oh,
at
yeah.
Pace because we've got all of our budget stuff tomorrow. We just had our meeting today for our budget for 2020, because that still has to go back to the RTA. The RTA tells us how much we get to spend.
Wow.
We don't get to say we need this much money. They say, here, we think you should get this much. And it's all done by formula, but it's there. So once we meet those targets and we get it back to them, they have to approve it. And so we're doing a lot of outreach on some of the stuff that we're taking care of. And so it gets a little hairy. I might not be able to get back to you as quickly as I would like to,
That's
but
fine.
we always work on it.
All right.
All right, thank you for the presentation, and in respect of our longtime friendship,
Yes,
should your phone ring at 2 a.m, it's me with another question.
perfectly okay, perfectly okay. I don't carry my phone with me.
Ah, good.
No, I'm usually, actually, I'm surprised I have them in my car, in my purse, and I don't usually, even when I go to meetings, I leave them in the car. Or I leave them downstairs and I'm upstairs and I can't hear the sing. Jeez, and I feel so bad.
Well, then I'll take that back.
And I will make sure I give Karen my card so she can get
That's
hold of it.
very good,
Perfect.
thank you.
You got it.
All right, next item, did you have anything else you want to say?
No, sir, that's.
Next item would be the discussion to determine,
Excuse me, one last thing. You do not have to have a CDL for this program. It can be, as long as you've got your insurance and you pass all of the tests that we have going with for you, you're okay. Gentleman just brought that up, but no, you don't have, not for those.
Okay,
because they're under 15 passengers.
All right, next item will be the discussion to determine the estimate, the property tax levy to comply with truth and taxation law. Let's see. This is strictly a discussion, and I think I have to announce that these things are available for review by the public.
And you need to just determine if that's the amount you want to,
Right, we have to determine
yeah.
that what amount the
You're gonna
levies are
Can we
gonna
pass a
be.
motion on it then, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, so that it
All
can
right.
be passed in
That's easy
December.
enough. Take the first one then, that's the township. And, I looked it over and it appears to be identical with last year.
It is,
So there's been no raise.
it hasn't been raised in this administration.
I'm sorry to say, but I also got my, county notification, which raised 8%.
The assessment, I know.
Well, the hard part about that is that it's probably everybody,
Yes,
so it just breaks it up. And they're still getting the same amount of money, unless somebody got a drop in theirs. I don't know if anybody, John.
it's a very small.
A motion to determine?
So we got a room full of people who didn't get a drop. Enough said. All right. What do we have to do? I have to announce any of this, or?
You can just, well, I've announced the final levy amount.
All right,
Levying for, make sure.
let me make sure I get it. Okay.
Dan?
All right, I will announce that the total town fund levy is identical to last year of $1,558,000.
Oh, yes. Yes.
1,558,000?
Yes.
And at this point, I'm gonna make a motion that, this board spend up to $300 to have the, levy worked out by a professional, so that, we have an accurate idea of, what is going on here in the township. We have 6 people that, 5 hadn't been on any boards before. And after going to, 2 presentations this weekend down at TOI about levy, I absolutely could see that that was the one thing that they said, don't salt your budget, don't salt your levy, same as last time. And it appears that it's exactly what we've done. And so he offered to come down, and we may get him for free, so that's why my motion is gonna say up to $300 to cover his fee to come up here. And yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure what you're asking, Dave, but I just wanted to advise the board that you have to determine and have your levy approved and submitted to the county clerk by the last Tuesday in December.
Correct.
So, and you have to determine your levy 20 days prior to voting on it at least.
Right.
So I mean, I'm just the corporate authority, which is you. So you have to do that. I mean, you're
But
gonna.
it has to be, doesn't it have to be open to the public for 30 days or?
No.
Not the levy?
No.
Okay.
You just need to determine the amount you need. And usually your levy, and I've told people this for years, the way the levy and the budget cycles run is sort of backwards in my opinion.
Right.
But that you essentially need to figure out what you want to spend money on. And you can always remember, abate part of the levy if you decide if you're levying too much, but you should decide, the purpose of this is deciding how much money you really need to operate next year. So you're, and that's the amount you're levy for. And of course, you haven't published or adopted a budget for next year, so you're not even at that point.
And we don't even know what we're gonna spend for the year.
Correct.
But-
That's always been.
but
We
the
have,
information that was also provided showed where we are at with our
Right,
budget. So I
right.
did put thought into this,
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah.
You're implying that I put no thought into this
Oh.
because we're copying it from
Right.
last year.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's,
not-
but not
the way
only,
it
but
is.
not only that, if you decide, as you suggest, Dave, that there's, an unnecessary amount, let's say, being levied, well, could I guess be too low, but if you're levying too much, essentially you can abate your levy to say, no, after you adopted it, tell the county clerk, no, we only need to, we want to abate so much because we'll be getting more money than we need to operate.
Okay, all right.
Or, and there more than that goes into it, however, you need to think about that. I'm just giving you the timeline.
Understood.
It's not, you can handle it however you want, and if you want someone to come in and look, I'm just sort of warning you, there's a timeline that's involved, that we have to make sure.
We talked about it yesterday, and he said as soon as your meeting is over, give me a call the following morning, and.
Well, you can determine your levy tonight, and then if you
Oh,
want
yes.
to use that,
Absolutely.
then you
Yes,
can
oh,
change
yes.
it when you vote on it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
as long as we're all, okay,
Absolutely, which we did, right?
we didn't adopt it yet.
Okay,
Oh.
there's a motion on the floor to spend up to $300 to go through a professional to analyze our levy on the floor. There's also a motion that we're gonna determine the property tax levy. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Was there a motion to determine levy?
There was.
Okay.
It was seconded. So you can either, you're looking to amend, really, you should deal with the first motion, and then you should.
My motion is germane to the levy, so.
Oh, so you want to, well, we're gonna have to handle one first.
Yes.
Which was the first one well, the first one was
The levy.
the levy. Who did we put down for motion and second?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh,
We may
I don't
not- we
think
may
there
have
was.
just brought up
I
the
don't
amount
recall
else.
there being
I'm not
a
thinking
motion.
there's
Being a motion, I didn't
I
recall.
don't
motion
recall
either.
that a motion.
Yeah,
But I'd also tell you, Dave, is that we don't have a item on the agenda talking about expending funds for a contractor to do work.
Mhm.
And, I don't want you to follow OMA by voting on something that isn't on the agenda.
Although it's germane, but it's not,
It's not specified.
Actually, do we have to even vote on it if we've got money in the budget to handle things like
Not
that?
for $300.
Yeah.
You don't need to vote on
oh, well, then,
Because there's probably miscellaneous or something
We
you
have
can write
all
off
kinds
that.
of things that could fit.
okay,
So it
all right,
becomes
then that's
strictly
much
a
better. And thanks,
directive.
Jim, that was a good.
All right, that's one. All right.
Right. So then I move that we adopt the levy as presented.
We have
it.
a-
Turning it on.
we have a second. All right, now, open up for discussion on the levy as presented,
The levy amount,
the
yeah.
levy amount that I presented.
And people could view that starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I would also tell you, just not as a discussing it as part of the board, but just advise you that if it's a flat levy, you're certainly not violating the P-TEL.
No, we're not.
Okay, so, and that's one of the standards you need to look at. And in this case, you're not violating P-TEL.
The levy this year is 1.9%. So.
Okay. That should be probably, because it's involving the money, it probably should be a roll call vote. Karen, roll call vote, please.
Ramesh? Yes. Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes. The motion to approve the levy ordinance value has been approved by unanimous roll call vote. Now we'll go to the ordinance for the road. And I will look that up real quick. All right.
I don't have that one. Points for both.
All right, this is for the equipment and building fund and the road district levy.
More specific.
The
Jim, I want to ask a
total-
question. Is that cool? Is that good? Because we don't have it specified on our agenda that we're doing
Either
both.
for the township, or I think we could read that to be the levy for both levies that this body has to approve, so.
Okay, just because it's not
And it is a-
specific, I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and as a tough technical matter, there's sort of a conflict, not a conflict, but a inconsistency in township law, but I think the board can vote on this.
Okay.
For both levies.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
All right, just as a comment, the sorry thing about it is you levy and looks like a bunch of money, but you don't get that because there's stuff that's late and people who don't pay. Sometimes you get some of them that are paying the back ones and it's folded in. The number is not chisel in stone. And more often than not, you do not get all the money.
True.
All right, read off this is the same situation with the road district. This is for the equipment and building fund. And, as I look at this, I find a grand total of $3,596. $596,162. I'll restate it. $3,596,162. That's for the road district. That appears to be all of it. All right. For the sake of discussion, can I have a motion to bring this to go forward with this?
So moved.
Move. Second, thank you. All right, now I'll open this for discussion. On this, I don't see any method of comparing it with last year. We have to more or less take this at face value. I would have liked to have seen some aging data, but I don't believe we have time for me to wait that out. So, same situation. If there is changes to be made or adjustments to be made, that can be done before it's passed for what next month or so. All right, any other statements or? All right, hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Ramesh?
Yes.
Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes, all right. The approval for the road district funds, equipment and building fund and road district, et cetera, as stated, has been approved by unanimous roll call vote. Our next item is we need to adjourn for an executive session under 5 ILCS 120/2 C 11 and 21, pending litigation and closed session minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? I'll second it. Roll call vote, please.
Ramesh?
Yes.
Chapman?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes. And I show it as being 8:02.
And you, I don't know if you want to tell them how long we're gonna be, but I don't.
Well, every time we told them that was gonna
This
be.
could be about 10
Thursday.
minutes. About 10 minutes, so.
Bring donuts tomorrow.
These actually don't mean minutes, he means light years.
Years. 10 minutes.
We'll be quick.
I'll do everything I can.